Okay, back here, got the planer set up, and in front of the camera, my happy place, and I'm gonna start planing these down. Got various lengths. They're about 5.5 inches wide and roughly 3/4 of an inch thick. So it'll be a little bit less once they make their way through the planer. But spoiler alert, I've already seen what these look like without the paint on them, and they are beautiful. So looking forward to what this set will look like when we're done. Okay, the planing is done for now. I'm going to go with what I have planed through so far. It occurred to me that I'm probably planing off leaded paint, so that's probably not good, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to take a little break now, go in, maybe remove the tags from my mattress, maybe get a drink from the water hose, some other prohibited activities, and resume shortly. Okay, next step is I got to show you what we're doing here, what we got after the results. I'm gonna flip it around. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. I think this is going to be the showing side. So the next step I've got to do is to clean up the edges here, and to do that I'm gonna run them through the table saw and just skim a little bit off the sides. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, man, I'm looking old, but we shall carry on. All right, so here's what we're dealing with. So I've got the edges all cut on the table saw, so they're fitting nicely together. We'll see where it goes from here. I'm going to try to have each tray constructed from the same board. So I'm going to see if I can pull that off, and we'll kind of see where it goes. I don't know why this is kind of turning into a tutorial. That is like the last thing that I would want to be involved in. Nobody should be listening to me on how to do this stuff. I'm the one that listens to everybody else. But I'm going to see what I can do. Next step, I'm going to cut these into the pieces for the size that we need to put these things together, and then kind of go from there. Alright, so just got back from a car ride without my seatbelt on, and was able to get back in here and cut these boards to length into groups of 4, with the idea of there being 4 trays. So let me show you what I've got. Okay, so this is the piece cut out from the same board, and then we got each of these groups here. This long piece, what I'm hoping to do is to use that for the sides. So I haven't quite decided yet, but what I'm thinking is I'm going to put this side, this is just for illustration, put these pieces on with just butted up together as opposed to a miter joint. I think rustic, maybe going with a butt joint as opposed to miter joint might look a little bit better, but I'll have to see. So once I get that milled down into strips that'll stick up, probably make them 1.5 inches is what I'm thinking. So I should be able to get everything I need out of this board to do the sides for each one of these 4 trays. That's the game plan. Yeah, here we go. We're all glued up. Just got to let this dry. Just basically glued the edges together, clamped it up. I had thought about using biscuits. I actually just got a biscuit joiner. Have yet to use it, but I think with this short of a span, that the glue in and of itself will be enough to support this, knowing that there'll also be side pieces on here. That's my thought. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so here's what we got going on right now. This is out of the clamp. Got one of them out of the clamp, sanded down. I think it looks pretty good, actually. Still have the others to do, but it really goes fairly quick with the random orbit sander. And these came out of the planer, very similar thickness. So we kind of have a good starting point without a lot of overlapping here. I tried to be sort of careful, which is easier on a shorter piece like this, to keep them somewhat even. So I'm really pleased with where we are with this at this stage. So I'm going to unclamp these others. They've been in the clamp for about 90 minutes or so. Unclamp, go through the sanding process, then we can begin adding the sides. Okay, back here, day 47 of this project, and things are going well. We're doing good. I've got the sides on the first board, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so a little bit of an issue ran into. I think it's going to be okay. So the sides of this one, the wood grain is just, well, overall the wood grain on this whole thing is just perfect. It's clearly old wood, so old grain, old growth. There was allowed to grow at a natural pace, and that's clear here, I think. So it's really good on the outside, and overall the integrity of it is still there. There's some insect damage here, so I was torn as to what to do, but I decided to just go with it, because it's really not into the integrity of the board much. It's more surface level. So I'm hoping that with polyurethane, it'll kind of seal it, and there's not any insects in there any longer. But so that's my game plan. These will be affixed at some point, and it's a tray. So to be continued. All right, we new day, wardrobe change has occurred, and a lot of progress. Let me show you. Okay, so these are still not attached. That's going to be the next step here. So got all four done. We've got 3 coats of water-based polyurethane on the main side here. I like using water-based polyurethane because it's kind to the environment, but mostly it is easy to clean up. So that's my thought process there, and I think it leaves a really good finish. And then the final thing I do is with this paper, kind of acts as like a sandpaper and provides a pretty smooth finish. It's probably like 1000 grit type scuffing to kind of smooth out the little bubbles that you get with polyurethane. But I think they came out pretty good. I'm really pleased. So the next step is to find out where the center parts will be for these handles. Get those fixed in. So the handles that we picked up
I like the handles, but the screws that came with them are subpar. I mean, they're just too short, too thin to really trust for any kind of weight to carry with these things. So I'm going to try some different screws that I already had on hand. So that's the next step.
All right, back here inside, and where it's a little warmer, and um, just kind of want to let you in on what is this all about if you haven't figured it out so far. So um, basically, this all of these boards that I have, I was able to get out of your mom and dad's shed. I think it was April of 21, and so far we've only used one longer board for something in our living room. We haven't used any of them for anything else to this point. If I had to guess, there's maybe 20 different sections of the barn wood, and um, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of knew that this was pretty good looking grain just because of the one that we used so far. And outside of having to do a little work here and there to avoid some nails when I ran it through the planer, this is what you know this is what we were dealing with. So, and I wanted to try to come up with something for you guys that I could use this wood, and a few different ideas, running it through my head, and then I settled on these trays. And then I remembered a story from when I was a kid. My guess is maybe this was somewhere in the early 80s, and you guys may have the origin of this. We were over at your parents' house, and your dad had offered hors d'oeuvres. And so, I just remember them laughing about it and me not really knowing what what the big deal was, but that story stuck with me. Um, the use of the word hors d'oeuvres, and it just carried on, from that point forward, at least for us. Now, your dad may have used hors d'oeuvres all of the time, but for us, I guess that was a new spin on the word. So I thought, okay, this is kind of like, this makes sense. Now you have a tray to serve hors d'oeuvres. So thanks for hanging with me through this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. No, I'm just kidding. I have no plans of doing this ever again. I'm going to go back behind scenes, behind the camera, incognito, wearing my cool Indiana Jones hat. So take care. Hope you guys enjoy them, and we'll see you later.